Welcome to Trek Table, your Sunday weekly podcast holding Trek space for
Black, Indigenous, Brown,
women of color,
queer or otherwise,
and our allies. Hi, I'm your host, Alison or Dela, and today I'm holding Trek space for the past here in the United States and around the world, and the prologue that it is setting up the world that we inherit. I'm also holding Trek space for everybody who's trying to make a new present to leave a better past for a better prologue.
Hi, I am your co-host Claudia, and today I'm holding Trek space for those who do not believe in no-win scenarios.
Hi, I'm your co-host Maya, and I am holding Trek space for having to make quick decisions and making decisions that don't just benefit yourself.
And hi, I'm your co-host Marie-Reine, and I'm holding Trek space for anti-imperialists out there.
Yes, so we're holding lots of Trek space today. Thank you so much for joining us all gathered here at the Trek Table. Thanks to our friends watching us in twitch.tv/outpost13. Great to see Satterfield H, Words and Cats. Welcome back. What's up, Kate415? I see you, Dodger. So we just want to say what's up to all our friends in the twitch.tv/outpost13 chat. You can join us live every Sunday at 4, or maybe you're watching us on outpost13.org, or you're listening to us on our audio podcast archive. We're holding lots of Trek space. We're inviting folks in the chat to tell us what they're holding Trek space for. But just know, lots of things going on this week. We're going to talk about the mirror universe. What's up, Tien? Seeing all the folks show up and show out. So let's go ahead, inviting our friends. Even if you're listening, who or what are you holding Trek space right now for? What's resonating for you? We want to honor that. So let's go ahead and take all that in. Go ahead and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Our opening track for this episode is titled Chicana Skies by the band Quetzal off of their album Quetzal. You'll be hearing several tracks by Quetzal throughout this episode of the Trek Table. Follow them at Quetzal Music on Instagram and see our show notes or the chat for a link to their merchandise and more.
Yes. So we want to say welcome to episode 14 of the Trek Table. It's hard to believe that when we started at the end of January that we would get ourselves here in May. Happy May. May 1st was just yesterday. May Day. What's up to all the working people around the world? What's up to all the Pacific Islander community, the Pacifica fam, who are also celebrating May. And of course, all of the folks celebrating Asian American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, South Asian, Southeast Asian American Heritage Month, depending on how you go. So we just want to say thank you. Thanks to friends who are joining us. See you, Tam Tom. See you, Doc Zulu. See you, Community for Small Streamers. So excited to welcome folks. And hold all this space for you. Today we're jumping into Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 13, What's Past is Prologue. We're so excited to think about this and think about what's going on in this mirror universe as we finish out this part of the Star Trek Discovery journey. We also want to prep folks that today that Mirror Ball universe got a lot to talk about, so we just want to prep you that this content at some points might be a little bit intense. We are going to probably talk a little bit about torture, some abuse and rape, so we want you to make sure that you're cared for and that you're ready to hear this conversation. So yeah, with all those things, I want to say welcome. Folks are still assembling. We're so happy to hear you, see you, feel you. And with that, we're going to jump into 20 Pesos by the band Quetzal. And we're back, Star Trek Season 1, Episode 13, What's Past is Prologue. We're going to jump into that episode today here on the Trek Table in a couple of different ways. We are going to play popcorn recap the best we can. We've been trying all season to see if we can get it summary going under 2 minutes. Let's see if we can do it today. Claudia's got some great Trek Table questions for us. We're also going to dig into the drama of Discovery design. Maya's back with some amazing looks for Space Runway. We're going to braid it all together in Thematix. Spoiler Zone is special. Marie and Maya are going to be there a little bit today. We're going to signal boost some amazing content from women of color creators from around the world, as well as share our final thoughts and gratitude.
We honor that people may be on their own journey of viewing Star Trek Discovery, so we will only discuss things that we can remember that have been unveiled up through this season 1, episode 13 of Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, yes. We're super excited. All right. So the Trek table is assembled. So happy to have our permanent host table back. Welcome back, Marie-Reine. We're so happy to see you today. We've got Marie-Reine, we've got Claudia, we got Maya. So I want to just do a quick check-in for the table before we jump into this discussion. Table, can I ask you check-in? Name, pronoun, access check-in today, and how you identify as a Star Trek fan. Maya, can I ask you to go first?
Yes, I go by she, her pronouns, and also today I am wearing black and gold for what I think might be our last trek into the mirror universe. So that's for that, and then I identify as Star Trek Light, Star Trek Fun, Star Trek Femme, and heavily sci-fi curious.
Wonderful, wonderful. Claudia, can I invite you to check in and introduce yourself today?
Sure, this is Claudia. Pronouns they, their, she, hers. You can use those interchangeably, although I prefer they. My access check-in is exciting today. Visual description: I'm a black woman with an afro. On the bridge of the original Star Trek for some reason. I like to sit where Uhura sits. But my check-in, my access check-in is I got the vaccine. I got the first shot, y'all. Shot. I got the first one. Very excited. But
Yay.
I've been a little coughy, a little oogie feeling. I've never been happier to feel oogie. But I'll try to cough off mic and be a little less scattered than I really am. And I'm from a generational Star Trek family.
That's what's up. Marie-Reine, can I invite you to check in?
Yes, hi everyone. Marie-Reine here, she, her pronouns. Access check-in where I am right now. I'm in the desert, so it's pretty windy, and I'm close to the airport, so it's me and flying objects all the time, I guess. And I'm also testing out like a portable setup for myself, so if I tend to fidget, it's because of that. And for my Star Trek identity, I would say that I grew up with Trek, but then most of my adult science fiction exploration has been outside of Trek, and so this has been like a coming back or a revisiting of like a home, but at that it's been a while. So that's where I'm at. How about you, Dela?
Thank you. Yes, hi, I'm Dela. My pronouns are she, he, they, or Dela. And my access check-in is that I am recording near a freeway, so you might hear some big truck sounds every now and again. Visual description: I'm a mixed-race Filipino-American queer person with blue hair up in a little bit of a bouffant today, shaved on the sides, a little bit of blue nail polish. And off screen is my Star Trek disco t-shirt, exactly like what Claudia is wearing. It's just not in my camera shot. I just want to say that. And on the wall behind me is a Filipino malong and a Discovery Season 3 poster up in the back right corner. My access check-in is that I've been coughing a little bit, so I've got some cough drops and some water going. Super excited. And the last thing I would say is I'm a Trekkie, a Trekker. I would say I'm a Trek head. I've been following Star Trek since I was a teenager, with a lot of love of minutia and some canon knowledge. So super excited. So friends in the chat, feel free to let us know, how do you identify as a Star Trek fan, so we have a sense of who we're chatting with today. And with all of that, we want to say thank you for joining us, and now you have a little bit of sense of who we are. So let's jump into our agreements, because we have a lot to talk about for this episode 1 season 13. So we want to honor that here at the Trek table we have some agreements, and we want to build space with you. We will welcome all who enter, whether you are a newbie or you are raised in a generational Star Trekking family. Welcome. Come on, let's build a space together.
Whether you use Trek Table as your nerdy exploration or even a part of your self-care ritual, Trek Table is a weekly space to put down the world for a second and come into Trek space.
A space for Black, Brown, Indigenous women of color to be a fan, a geek, a nerd, and explore the vastness of the Star Trek multiverse.
Yes, Trek Table is also a place for allies to come, engage, and explore as well. This is an opportunity for allies to hold space and focus on insights, perspectives, and experiences that you may not be familiar with, or we may not be familiar with.
And now that we're all here, we remind you that we seek to build an environment of mutual respect and understanding in our room and in the chat. We understand we'll disagree, and that's where some of the fun is, but there's enough hate going on in the world, so let's keep our phasers on stun.
That's right. So with all those agreements being what they are, we're going to invite everybody one last breath. So let's ground ourselves. Go ahead, breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through your mouth.
And that brings us to our first Trek Table question. So this first Trek Table question will be assembled, will be posed to us here assembled at our voice in voice and video, and to those participating at twitch.tv/outpost13 chat. Question number 1. Do you believe in a no-win scenario, like the Kobayashi Maru? Extra points if you know what a Kobayashi Maru is. So that was a sampling of Hollenbeck Gonzo by the band Quetzal, our theme song today for Trek Table Questions. And our question number 1 was, do you believe in no-win scenarios like the Kobayashi Maru? Also, do you know what a Kobayashi Maru is? All right, y'all, let's get into it. I'm going to start with you, Dela. Kobayashi Maru.
I do know what Kobayashi Maru is. I will say Spock here, and I will not say the whole thing because I think other people later at the table have answers. But yes, Kobayashi Maru. And I would say I don't believe in no-win situations because I've been making theater of color for the last 20 years. And if I believed there were no-win scenarios, I would not be making theater with artists of color, indigenous folks, women, queer people. So yeah, I definitely agree with Saru. I will not accept a no-win scenario, and I'm going to try and find an answer as much as I can before I call Uncle.
Okay, come on, Dela. That is for real. If I had threat ganglia living in America as a black woman, they'd just be like this all day long. They'd just be like this, just waving every single day.
Just waving.
So
just
yeah,
waving.
for real. Hey, Marie, how about for you? No-win scenarios.
You know what? Why does it always got to be about winning? So that's what I have to say. So, so I don't always believe in there always needing to be a winner. So I think I actually do believe in no-win situations. I'll be a little bit contradictory here. So yeah.
It's my favorite when people say different things and they're all really true. That's my favorite. Maya, what's your take on the no-win scenario? Do you believe in them?
Well, first of all, I had to look up what Kobayashi Maru was.
Which one did you look up? Did you look up the original Kobayashi Maru or the Abrams Kobayashi Maru?
Okay, so it was a very quick look up, but I remembered it because I saw in the last month the 2009 movie. So I saw the Kirk, having to showing a part, but then I followed a bit of the thread that they had mentioned it, I think, in the original series. That Kirk was the only one who was actually able to beat it because it's basically a simulation for the what are they called, the Trek people.
The captains.
The captains the officers to basically show their true colors in a no-win situation, like how they would choose. But essentially it seems like they die either way, but still it's sort of an ethical test. But yeah, and then I think it's referenced in the Wrath of Khan. But yes, I think I think like it just made me also. It's not exactly. It just made me, when you asked the question, made me think of pulling Georgiou out of the mirror universe into the prime universe. I mean, that seems like you're not supposed to do that, and it's breaking the rules. And but it definitely seems like it's going to add some hijinks and drama, which is the point of story and narrative anyway. So I think it's fun to have those kinds of situations to push yourself to figure out, like, how do you act when the cards are on the table? I don't know if that's a correct even reference, but yes.
I mean, I do feel like that would be a good, like, to do a Kobayashi Maru test for anyone, just to, like, see, like, how do you react when it all goes real bad? I just want to see how you react. I think that's an interesting way to test people out, to be like, do you blame everybody else? Do you flip out? Do you try and flip the table? Or I don't know what the Star Trek equivalent of flipping a table is. I like Satterfield's comment from the chat, bringing up some Deep Space Nine. So Garrick was right about one thing. A guilty conscience is a small price to pay for the safety of the Alpha Quadrant. It's what you can live with within that no-win. What is the lesser of two evils? Ooh, come on, y'all. Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine had some, like, really, like, hardcore philosophical questions it was bringing you into. Then we've got, it depends on what your definition of win is. Are there only two options? Is there a winning continuum? Is winning binary, or is it a spectrum? Come on, people. And then lastly, no-win scenarios happen all the time when people are focused on their own winning at the expense of others, rather than finding solutions where everybody wins. I feel like we have to, like, drop the mic on that one, because that is such a good response. So that brings us to the close of Trek Table question number 1.
Yes, and if you're enjoying all of our conversation and you want to keep this dialogue coming, we invite you to like and subscribe to us on Instagram at Trek Table and on Twitter at Trek Table 1. Join our combos, hashtag Trek Table, hashtag BIWOC Trek, and hashtag Star Trek Discovery.
And with this song, Matanzas by Quetzal, we know it's time for Popcorn Recap. The game is simple. We have 2 minutes to share chunklets of the plot from this week's episode.
Yes, we are going to be talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 13, What's Past is Prologue, written by Ted Sullivan and directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi. Is that how you pronounce this director's last name? I love this director.
Mm-hmm.
Osunsanmi? Olatunde Osunsanmi.
We hope that Popcorn Recap is funny because to us, Maya and I are disco newbies, and Claudia was raised in a Star Trekking family, as we've mentioned, and Dela loves minutia. So let's try and do all of that in just 2 minutes.
Okay, Brandon, please set the clock on the timer. 2 minutes. Episode 12 in 2 minutes on the clock. Can we get it done?
Incoming transmission.
Okay, so we have Lorca, who frees his old crew of traitors from their agonizer booths, and then he tells Mirror Landry, who's still alive, that this was his plan all along. With the help from a reluctant Mirror Stamets, they take over the ship so that Lorca can take the throne away from Georgiou.
Totally. And then back on the Discovery, Prime Stamets is explaining, like, how the entire mycelial network is now being poisoned by the big red ball, aka the central orb on the ISS Charon. And then Tilly notices, but then if we did that, then nothing will stop and we might die. And then Saru, like, rallies everybody and is like, I do not believe in no-win situations, and my ganglia is not up, so no one is dying today.
Burnham escapes through the vents before Georgiou can kill her, and she calls up Discovery, and they decide they need to destroy the central orb and cause an explosion that they can ride on the wave of the mycelial network, and then Stamets can help them navigate them home. Simple.
And Lorca is, although it's not simple, because, like, Tilly's like, is it gonna be easy? And he's like, And then Lorca on the ISS Corcon, Lorca is taunting Georgiou over the intercom, so that she will take her team to battle him. And then they totally fight each other. And Georgiou beams into hiding. And then later on the bridge, Lorca totally murders Mirror Stamets.
It was crazy. So then Lorca, over the intercom, again, Lorca invites Burnham to join him and orders his people not to pursue her. Burnham finds Georgiou and contacts the Discovery. They agree to a plan, and then Burnham lures the containment field around the central orb of the mycelial network by using Georgiou as bait.
Big fight, big fight, big fight. And then Burnham wins and refuses to murder Lorca because that's not what Starfleet does. But that's what Georgiou does. We got close.
We were closer than ever, I think.
Yes.
What a place to pause on. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to do one more go back. Sometime I think by the last episode we're gonna get this in 2 minutes, y'all. Like, this was really amazing. We almost got all the plot points in, but we missed one big one. You were in the middle of presenting it. Dayla, can we go back to you? You were like, Burnham isn't gonna kill Lorca, and then what happened?
Burnham gives a speech. I'm not gonna kill you because Starfleet won't kill you. And then, but Emperor Georgiou will. So she stabs Lorca in the back with the big giant sword, silver sword we've seen all episode. And then he like staggers to the edge of the stairs, right near the door where the moon door is.
Yes.
The spore, the corridor. The corridor, not Game of Thrones. Corridor.
Yes, and then they knock him through the door, so we know that his body's totally gone. And then Georgiou offers to sacrifice herself, like the good warrior that she is, to allow Burnham to escape. But surprise, Burnham non-consensually hugs Georgiou and takes her with them, and they're both beamed onto the Discovery, and the Charon is destroyed.
Okay, so then, so on the Charon, Stamets is like navigating them through the confusion, and then remembers the words that Culber said in like the mushroom dreamland, and Culber was like, find the clearing in the forest, and Culber leans back and in that 90s screensaver sees the clearing and zips through, and they get back, and everybody, they're like, yay, we're back, but they're 9 months late, y'all. It's 9 months late, and the Klingons, they've totally won.
The Klingons had like a baby in that time.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know Klingon pregnancies. Somebody else let us know what that would actually
Gestational
be.
periods.
But a lot happened in that 9 months, and that brings us to the end of Popcorn Recap. Thank you for joining us for Popcorn Recap.
So we thank you all for joining us every week. Satterfield H continues to invite us to add 10 to 30 seconds on the clock every week. We don't complete. But this was a week to say we're almost there. We believe by episode 14 and 15, we're going to get it. So for now, if you might enjoy how we tell this story, but you might want to see a little deeper dive. So we're going to point you to our friends at Women at Warp. Thanks to Sue, who did the recap this week. Really interesting, fun graphics. And I'll just shout it out. They call about the Klingon War app, so I'm all about it. So I'm going to reference that and say, go ahead and do some other reading and nerd out as you look at Women at Warp's notes. And that is the Trek Table Popcorn Recap.
Welcome back. We are now here for Discovery Design, where we're going to dish on some design elements that are giving us all of this fabulous drama. So a few weeks ago, I was like, what is up with this big red ball? Like, I'm loving it for like fashion and design, but like, is there a point? Turns out there totally was. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the big red ball, y'all. Marie, do you have anything to tell us about this big red ball?
Yeah, well, we find out that the big red ball is the mycelial network used as a power source, right? And then so like, yeah, it just kind of feels, and this is already been pointed out by Stamets and us and Prime Saru, that is a big waste of what the mycelial network can actually do, and that it's like not a renewable energy. It reminds, it made me think about how we waste energy today, how the energy that we use from, especially coming from coal, is not sustainable because it's not anything that is renewable. It's something that definitely will run out, and so, and that we're just kind of barreling towards it. So that feels like the trajectory that the Terrans are on by using up all this energy by the mycelial network.
Marie, you just gave me a light bulb because I just realized the ISS Charon looks like a cruise ship. And if I think about the footprint that cruise ships have like on the planet Earth, just thinking of the ISS Charon, what it's doing to the entire, like all of the universes. Ooh, there's a sickness to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no. I want to support the wildness. When we're ready, I need to go back to that door over the red orb, and just that we get this door. I called it the moon door accidentally in the recap.
Game of Thrones reference.
Yes. And I did actually really like that. I mean, so yeah, and I will just say the giant ship from last episode, we spent a lot of time last show talking about how giant this Charon is, and just it's almost cartoonish the way that it gets the visual effects look. So I just want to echo that and just say a lot of waste going on.
It did look like kind of like a pyramid to me, like a floating pyramid.
In some ways, it reminded me a little bit of the Baroqueness of the Ship of the Dead with the Klingons.
Yes.
I'll
take that parallel.
We have a lot of design elements, so we can always have go-backsies, but can we talk a little bit about the director's choice? I messed up his name. Olatunde
Osunsanmi.
Thank you. Just keep saying it out loud. I'm going to keep saying it out loud. I love this director so much, and I love this director's choices. My favorite was there was sparkly energy going down. There was lots of sparkly choices about sparkly energies. And I was like, if you're going to have a bridge explode, have it explode with raining sparkles. It's pretty.
I would definitely jump in here and say I did not like how Mirror Owosukun died in this episode. I did not like it. But I loved the split second after where we saw one of the baddest entrances of a villain in Star Trek in a minute. Just the single of all the red phaser lights turning on. Brandon sharing a little bit of the image on screen for friends.
Yes. Just
in this hallway, just evil, nasty goodness. I didn't like it that I liked it, but I loved it.
Satterfield from the audience said that there is a mirror red and prime is blue. So red being bad and blue being good. That's amazing. I love that observation. Yes.
So many good things. I'll just add another thing. If we look at the way that the throne looks in the ISS Charon, last week we made jokes about how it looks like the Major League Baseball World Series trophy. We still get all those levels going, but then in this episode, it's like optical illusion. Is it a throne? Does he sit on it? Does he crouch on it? Is he working his thigh muscles, or is he just standing the whole time? The hula person in me wants to know. What is that?
I just noticed that there were 2 round discs on both sides of ready to throw and kill anybody. That they had replaced them after killing the advisors. So
nice catch, Maya. I want to move us to a different topic. This is less Mirror Universe, and this is more the entire season. I don't know if this is the first time Ariam spoke aloud, but I was listening to Ariam's voice, and I was like, I love the vocal effect they do on this character. But then it struck me that nobody treats Ariam like they're unique or special, and they treated Geordi LaForge like a unicorn. They were like, whoa, what's going on with your visor? So many episodes, just visor awe. It just reminded me of the hypervisibility of disabled folk. And I am here for it, but did this strike anybody else at all, or is this just a Claudia annoyance?
I just am curious about her. I want to know her backstory. I mean, I did read a little bit about her when I think I mentioned her in one of the Runway segments, because sometimes there's these background characters that start to feel they creep in and they start to feel like they're gonna be somebody. So yeah, because I was like, is she a droid? But she's not a droid, and
Right, like she's a person, right?
yeah, and those are what did you call them? They're like something that helps her be
Oh,
able to see and
augments.
augmentations. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and here's like she has like so many more augmentations than Geordi had, which was what was getting me. All right. So that was my like. Oh, please.
Can I also just want to add to it. I want to visually describe Ariam. Ariam is the crew member who's got like silver plates on her head. It almost looks like a helmet. It looks like she's got stuff over the top of her crown of her head, also around the side on her ears. And I will say that her function on the ship is she seems to be the operator who presses the button on the bridge to make the spore drive go. So once they call Black Alert, Tilly and Ariam seem to have to work together a lot. And I would say, yes, folks who are watching this for the first time, you want to keep watching Disco because we learn way more about Ariam in season 2.
Yes. Thank you, Dayla. Yes. Maya, you and I had a disagreement on one of the design elements where we saw a design element and then decided that it was something different. Olatunde, I've decided that we're best friends now, and I'm calling him by his first name because he is an awesome director. He can weigh in and let us know which of us is correct. Is it a great hall or a hallway? Like that hallway where they have that awesome fight, right? I think it's a hallway because I've decided everything takes place in hallways on Star Trek ships.
That makes sense, but for sure they're just big and they seem hall-like, and there's all those shots that are like of above, looking down and able to see everybody in the hallway. So they're less intimate in the sense of like the hallways that we see on the Discovery. So I don't know, it feels hall-like, and yes, the ship is bigger, but I thought there was a name to the place where they had the battle, and I didn't get to watch it again to check if there was a name, because they were we found Lorca.
I gotta say, your argument moved me, and I went back and looked, and I was like, is it a big room or is it a hallway? And I'm just gonna keep being obsessed with Star Trek hallways and how they just get a lot done in the corridors. I just want to do a shout out for our audience member who wanted to talk about not only the mycelium network, and how it connects in the powers of life in the universe, but asking, is it like the Force of Star Wars? Are mycelium spores like midichlorian, which gives special super Jedi-like powers to those who are in touch with it and can yield it? And that is a very good question. And it makes me, I'm fully going to skip my conversation about non-consensual transporter rides. We've had 2 in this episode with Ash and Laurel, and now with Georgiou and Burnham. But let me ask y'all, what do you think about, is it midichlorians? Do you have any Star Wars nerds in the audience? Wait, you just said yes confidently.
I just meant yes, the word is midichlorians.
I thought you were going to be like, it's obviously the midichlorians and the mycelium network are obviously connected. Do we have opinions about this?
Well, like the spores are the spores being manipulated the way that midichlorians are manipulated regarding like how things are moving in space? And so, like, yes, we're manipulating the spores in such a way but Discovery is using it as like a vessel, right? The mycelial network is more like a vessel to ride along with, as a network, but not necessarily manipulating it to their needs, right? So I kind of see them as different, not like, the mycelials are not, does not equal midichlorians. That's what I'm thinking right now.
And I would support that. I would say I feel like the metaphor I hear in this episode from Tilly, it's almost like I feel like Discovery, the mycelial network is the ocean and Discovery is a surfboard, versus what Mirror Stamets is doing is forcing the mycelial network to run through the Hoover Dam that is the ISS Charon. Those are the metaphors I would use in this moment. But I think that the midichlorians, it's different. It's different. And I see Satterfield trying to talk about wizards. And yeah, Star Wars is a lot more about wizards. Like, totally. Maya and I had to go watch Fantastic Beasts this week to do some wizarding referencing.
You had to?
We kind of had to. We had to. I had to show.
Yes. I mean, well, I don't know very much. I had to look up what a midichlorian is, and I would have to look, but the one thing I do feel like the network, the mycelium, the little bit that I did look up about the real Stamets and the scientists, it is about connecting all living things. So there's that aspect of it. So it's beyond just being able to write it. It is something that connects all of us and apparently multi universes. So I think there is something about the living aspect of it and the connecting us as, as all sentient beings. Is that the other thing that Trek likes to talk about?
A little bit. Well, I just want to say shout out to the audience for giving us some really beautiful things to think about and noodle on in our design conversation. This is always a fun conversation, and we're going to come back to it next week. We can't wait to share more insights next week with you in Discovery Design.
Yes, and if you're having a great time with us discussing Star Trek fighting about midichlorians versus mycelial, we want to invite you to come and join us and have these combos with us also on the Trek Table Facebook page at facebook.com/Trek Table podcast. So yes, we'd love to hear more from you. I see Words and Cats also jumped in on this. So yeah, lots of dialogue happening today in the chat.
Oh, brilliant. Also, speaking of Star Trek fights, as we head into our musical break, I'm going to share Trek Table question number 2 with you, which was, what was your favorite fight scene in this episode? Choo-choo, choo-choo. Mira que regresa el maldito. Viene con las manos llenitas de piedra que no quiere arrojar. Welcome back, my friends. All right, now let's get into it. We had a lot of fights, so I feel like we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to close hand battle. So yeah, what was your favorite fight? I'm actually gonna start with you, Marie.
Yeah.
What was your favorite time or your favorite fight?
I think I would say my favorite fights in general are when it seems like the cards are stacked against someone or one side. And so it would be the Burnham and Georgiou against everyone else in the throne room, because I mean, it was really great to see like different fighting styles and then just like all of the over the shoulder kicks into people's faces. And like, it was amazing. It was just amazing. And then to really fun to see 2 kick-ass women just fight their way through a room.
Dayla, what was your take? What fights did you like?
I would ditto that. I think I will say it'll come up later in the show, but this is not my favorite. I mean, let me just say, I loved all the fights. But the most remarkable moment to me in all of the fights was that Lorca took his sword to Landry to slash at her so he could get to Burnham, and then they could try to not fight. So I'll just say that was like the most cold-blooded thing, because Landry, she loves her some Lorca. I just feel so bad for Landry. Like, she just didn't get the right world in Prime or in Mirror. Like,
You know, it's
amazing. For being a lackey.
Come on, Landry the lackey. I love me some Landry. Landry's loyal. Landry's got loyalty. Just followed the wrong one. Maya, what was your favorite fight or favorite moments from the fights?
I definitely also echo when Michelle Yeoh / Georgiou kicks over her shoulder into Lorca's face. So satisfying. I watched it several times. When he's behind her, I was like, flexibility for the win. And just like, that both Burnham and Georgiou are petite, but like the choreography was so great. So yeah, I like that. And I guess I realized because I watched another movie that had a lot of explosions. Oh, I was watching Matrix 3. I realized I'd never watched it. And there's just so many creepy crawly things and so many explosions and pew pew. I just realized that that's so stressful to me, and so I felt like it was more acrobatic and dance like, and there's definitely phasers and some explosions, but it's not like excess adrenaline junky fights. So I appreciated that. It didn't stress me out.
I'm going to say I appreciate our observation from the chat that maybe they didn't like the directorial choice in this scene because they wanted wider shots to see how Michelle Yeoh was really doing that. Because she was really putting, that she was just like, oh, wait, no, you just need me to like kick someone in the back of the head. I can just do that. Yeah, I just do that all the time in all my movies. Boom, boom. It was a little dark too. So yeah, we didn't get to like really revel in the practicality of what these women were actually doing with their bodies for realsies. But I did love that there was drama and like you were into it. Like I was into the fact that Landry and Burnham were fighting each other, and it felt like a sibling fight where Landry was like, I need to kill you because he likes you more than me. She was right. Landry was right. Also, I liked the sword in the back because it reminded me of Chekhov's gun. It was like Chekhov's big, gigantic gold sword. Who knew?
Can I also put in an honorable mention for when Burnham fights her way out of the throne room when Georgiou is like, put her in the brig, and it's like, oh hell no, and then Vulcan fights her way out, and so I thought it was interesting, and that was a moment where I was like, oh, this is where like being from her own prime universe, that Burnham's training with the Vulcans kind of puts her at an advantage against the Terrans, who probably only study Terran style fighting. I don't know, because they're so egomaniacal and xenophobic that they don't study like other species forms of fighting. And so I was like, she just like, yeah, Vulcan fought her way out, and like that, and also that like shoot a door, like a little cubby hole open, run and slide into I'm gonna call the like Jeffries tubes of the Charon. So yeah.
Yes. And can I just say, she tries to Vulcan grip Lorca, and he actually, when in that same moment where after he shoots Landry, she's trying to defend herself, and at one point she reaches over near his shoulder and he grabs it, and they make a point so you could see it, so he's trying to stop it. He's like, stop. And I was like, dude, she's totally trying to like put him to sleep. She's totally trying to do the grip.
Oh, I feel like we didn't do a big, gigantic, meaty conversation on fights, but if we wanted to, we could just have only a conversation on the sexy fight choreography. Well, that brings us to the end of Trek Table question number 2. That was amazing again. And now this brings us to that very solemn time in our ritual where we invite you all to move around in your seats and screens, because it is now time for Trek Table Dance Break with Space Runway!
Some of the eye-catching looks from function to fashion in the 23rd century. Space Runway. Welcome to Space Runway. This week we are doing some highlights from Season 1, Episode 13, and we have 8 looks today. Starting with look number 8, Man in the Mirror, Lorca.
From another
Lorca.
universe and back, the man with the plan all this time also included donning a silver breastplate to contrast all the gold in the Empire. More geometric angular designs peek out from the evil leather trench coat and help reflect a blue hue and the dried blood stains on his face.
Look number 7. This is not an awards show performance.
Agonizer. Just kidding. Landry's agonizer booth opens to reveal her in a crouching henchwoman in waiting vibe. Not some hot pop star. Lorca rolls up, pulls her out of the agonizer, gives her the exposition, and Landry assembles herself. She's got this amazing, sleek black jumpsuit, soft and plush on top with long black sleeves and leather details on the collar and those shoulder pads. Come on now. Throw a silver and blue breast plate on top of that and let's get some rebellion ruckus going. Gimme more, Landry says. She's been waiting for 212 days, but girl, I gotta tell you, Lorca's gonna cut a Landry to get to his Burnham. Write that pop song now, girl.
Oh dear, poor Landry. Look number 6. Silver Squad versus Gold Squad.
After being freed from the agonizers and hearing one of Lorca's pep talks, the black jumpsuit crew are ready to take on Team Gold Empire to make an empire even more xenophobic, oppressive, and evil, and probably change the color scheme to silver and blue. Coming out of the dark, hiding in the hallway, Team Lorca's phasers light up in red, attempting to crush Gold Squad in so much laser cut shoulder, chest, elbow, and forearm armor. Woo!
And look number 5, Mama's tactical gold jewelry. Georgiou has some tricks up her sleeve and especially on her wrist. She reveals a technical bracelet with multiple buttons and flourishes that include a remote control for hidden wall phasers to attack back at Lorca's crew. Form and function, we love that. In the mirror universe. Look number 4. We've got a meeting in the spore lab. We'll be back real soon.
See how the Discovery crew gathers in the Spore Drive lab for a pep talk and a massive planning session? Loving the mix of looks as Lieutenant Uwusukun and Reese rock their mirror universe black and gold amidst Detmer and Tilly and the whole rest of the crew who have definitely changed back to their disco blue tracksuits. Let's solve this problem, kids, and find a way home.
That's look number 3. Back to red. Back to reality.
Tilly is tired of pretending to be Mirror Captain Killy, and so is her wig. After figuring out their final plan of action and that she doesn't have to pretend anymore, she changes back into her cadet uniform and back to that curly hair sweetness in a bun. Aww.
And look number 2. Gotta call home. The red phone special. I don't know if that one worked.
All through the night. All right, Landry gets points again with Landry. Come on now. We see you as use fashion that is also function, and your Terran communicator is colored red like the racing stripes on the sides of the shuttlecraft. Cricket chirps and all, Landry pulls out that communicator and gives the order.
Look number 1. Uwusukun ×2. Lieutenant Uwusukun in the mirror is all dark eyeliner and black and gold uniform as she attempts to hunt down Burnham after slipping away once again. We see her for the last time, disheveled, ambushed by Lorca, and then zapped into an oblivion by his crew. But notice that on the Discovery, Prime Uwusukun is still also dressed up as mirror version of herself in black. And if we ever needed to tell them apart, just check for the black eyeliner because, like, goatees, that's part of what makes you evil. And that, my friends, is Space Runway for this week. Fashion, form, and function in the future.
All right, so we want to hype it up and let folks know we are at season 1, episode 13 right now in Star Trek Discovery. We only have 2 more episodes in this season. Episode 14 we're going to talk about next weekend, Mother's Day weekend, May 9th. And then we hope that you will join us for the final episode in season 1, which is episode 15, which we will record on May 15th. And then we have some updates and some cool special surprises about what's going to happen at Trek Table as we jump into our season 1 recap and our season 2 of Discovery. So we hope that you'll keep following us, joining us. Oh, on May 16th. Sorry, I got excited and said the date. Thank you, voices in my head. All right, so May 16th will be our last show, and we're excited to tell you more about that. So last show, season 1. All right, so last thing to say, if you're enjoying us, you love us, you want to keep helping us make great Star Trek content centered on women of color, we invite you to join the squad and visit our Patreon at patreon.com/trektable. Okay, we've had a very lively show today. Thematix is the section we are in, this segment. We like to braid it all together. We've had some really great talks about fights in this episode. We've had, I feel like we have efficiently and effectively discussed the mycelial network and its midichlorian parallel or not. So as we enter Thematix, I want to talk a little bit about this triangle of Georgiou, Burnham, and Lorca, and the way in which, in this episode a lot, but also last episode, we're hearing about the destiny involved in them. Georgiou says in this episode she is destined to kill Lorca. He laughs in her face and he says, I would like to see that happen. So great. We have a lot about Burnham being destined in both universes to betray Georgiou. And then Lorca certainly believes that he is destined to be booze with Burnham in any universe. So I just want to talk about this destiny triangle and how we feel about it, and just some of the pieces, and then just kind of what we get in terms of Burnham trying to tell, Prime Burnham telling Mirror Lorca, like, we would have helped you. So I just want to open it up. Claudia, I know you were having some thoughts about this earlier in our prep. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm super excited. So this is the triangle. Let's start with Marie. Marie, thoughts on anybody in the triangle?
Well, one, can I say that, yes, Lorca's evil, and we have thought this all along. I know that I wasn't here last week when the reveal was made in the episode, but oh my God, Lorca's evil. I totally didn't trust him. I never trusted him. And so, yeah, and I would say that for Lorca believing that his destiny is to always be with Burnham, like, that's really gross because it's very much not consensual to me, as you know, especially from Burnham's side, and it's just ew, like, you didn't need to bring up the pillow talk. That was not necessary. That was gross. I gagged. And as well, like, he at the top of this episode, he just positions himself as this savior for the Terrans, and I don't know, I'm over that. Done. Bye.
Yes. All right, Claudia, your thoughts.
I found it very telling and interesting when he called Empress Georgiou Pippa, because I was like, oh, that's audacious. That's intimate. Like, hey, Pippa. Hey, my friend Philippa. I don't even call you Philippa. I just call you Pippa. There was always a vibe of I got the idea that if I had been in that mirror universe, I might have been tricked by him, because he seems real slick. Real gross. He nasty.
Can I ask a question? Well, let me go to Maya, and then I'm going to ask the table a question that might turn us even more. Maya, go.
Well, I just noticed he gives a lot of pep talks, a lot of, speeches and monologues, which he's really great at. But in contrast to Georgiou, who's a little bit more careful with her, she says lots of really biting things, but she doesn't need to add a whole lot of flourish. I mean, he's talking about your childish idealism, and I had to lie to you, it was for the better, and every idea and being is not equal, and the strong and capable will always rise, and we have to do it the right way, the strength and order, and then that it's the other parts that are just manipulative, oh, your gifts far surpass mirror Burnham, I see your power, so there was a lot of ways that he was pumping people up for his own purpose, and we recognize now that his purpose is to be even more xenophobic than we've even understood any other universe or group of beings. Even like the Klingons, for example, it seems like they want domination, but in the mirror universe, they don't even want to really even have to battle for it. They want to rule by fear. And the one that also super monologue that stood out to me was when he says, about Stamets, it would be poetic justice to be killed by his own creation. And he says, just kidding, I hate poetry. I just thought that was a nod to him being named after Lorca, this Spanish poet and playwright, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't believe he deserves that. That name.
Yes.
I'm like, how can you hate poetry? You just haven't met the right poet yet.
Ooh, that's a bumper sticker. And I want to uplift what I'm seeing in the chat from Luz Vamindas, talking about how Burnham has betrayed Georgiou 3 times, including once in the mirror, once in the prime, and then maybe in this non-consensual transporter pull. So
I will
thank
betray
you
3 times.
3 times. So here's my question. When Lorca calls her Pippa, the way that the story is told, just quick flash answer. Do you in your head canon, are you tracking, and I'm going to ask each of you a yes or no question. Do you believe that Lorca was romantically and sexually with Georgiou? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, says Claudia. Marie-Reine, what do you say?
Yes, because of the Pippa.
Yes. Maya is
I would say sure, because they're all about, isn't Mirror all about, I'm not supposed to say more than yes, but isn't it all about everybody
Right.
kind of has sex? Yeah.
Right. And then let me just say, I deeply affirm and confirm my gratitude to Olentunde and all of the directors for never, ever, ever showing us any flashback image of Jason Isaacs in any intimacy position, naked or otherwise, with Georgiou or with Burnham. So just thank you. Just thank you for that, for us not having to recover from that. That's all I want to say about that. All right, so let's move on because we're chunky into this, into the braiding of these thematics. Let's talk about this episode. We did also see Saru and the Discovery crew have that coming together, coalescing, right? As a group, they have formed, they have stormed with each other, and they are performing this task of trying to get out of this universe. And I wanted to just offer folks an opportunity to reflect on, either Saru's amazing speech or how it feels to see this crew really kind of sync up and get out of trouble together. And even Burnham having to disclose to them, he betrayed us. He lied to us. He's a Terran. So, Claudia, I wonder, do you want to open up this convo with us?
Well, sure. I'm just remembering the first episode. You get this really cute, innocent ensign that's like, that's not what Star Trek is supposed to be about. Ah! And then, later on, you see him being in the evil mirror universe and being all evil. And then you have Saru doing some of the moves Saru has done. And I'm not sure what Starfleet is actually all about. I believe in Michael. I believe in what Michael's all about. I believe in what those bridge folks are deciding in the moment and what they're all about. I'm not sure. Would Starfleet have actually sent him home to the mirror universe? She says that like she believes it, but really? Really, Michael?
There you go. Maya, or any other thoughts on this? Were you excited to see them kind of all sidle up and be crew together?
I mean, the speech was compelling for sure. And I was like, thank you, Saru, for not just saying no all the time, no, this is, we need to talk to so-and-so. We need to talk to the captain, or that's not your job. He's like, all of us, we're in this. I believe in, my ganglia is not a flare. So we, he had some faith and hope, and that was, that was sort of inspiring to see.
Okay, awesome. And Maria, I know that this is not your favorite topic, but I want to transition into one of the questions you raised in a prep. So at the end of this episode, we see Disco has become its own whole self. They are now on their own newly christened maiden voyage. They're riding the mycelial wave back into the future, back into Prime. But what is left of the Terran Empire? What do you think? Do you think that it falls apart now that basically the ISS Charon blows up? So Georgiou, Landry, Lorca, Burnham, even all of them are gone.
Yeah, like all of the leaders of the Terran Empire are gone, and like the Charon explodes. Also, can we call it the ISS Charon?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and but like all of them die. Like how many people are on that ship? I mean, though I wouldn't be mad at a Terran Empire led by Captain Killy, because Captain Killy is not on that ship. So, but it does seem like it, if not totally a fallen empire, but something that needs a ton of restructuring or someone to, likely violently take the lead.
Okay. Yes, and I know we're gonna go. I was gonna say we're gonna talk about more of this on spoiler, but go ahead, Maya.
Okay. I was just like, did the rebels die? Did they blow them all up?
No.
Okay.
You're right. So, no, the rebels are safe on the planet, which sounds very Star Warsy.
Okay. All right.
I was like,
so yeah,
no.
and then does Discovery Prime and Mirror Discovery switch back? Remember? Because isn't that what happened to them?
Interesting question.
That's all. I just have more questions than answers.
All right. This is Claudia. I believe that we already know the answer to this, and it's given to us in our first Mirror episode in Star Trek the original Star Trek. Because it's like, this is canon. This is canon, baby. I'm pretty sure that this is the same universe.
You're right.
So this happens right before the episode in the original Star Trek where we see Spock with a goatee. This happens just like maybe 15 years before Spock has a goatee. I'm guessing. Like, I'm 100% making up dates in my head.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm now I'm confidently, this is my confident stance. 15 years later, Spock and a goatee.
I'll take that 15 years confidence stance. Spock in a goatee, which Space Runway tells us makes him evil. Fascinating. Okay, so I love that. We're also going to jump in a little bit in spoiler zone because there's some things that come up in season 3 that we are privy to at this table. So we will discuss that. Marie and Maya are going to be in spoiler zone today. I'm so excited. All right. Last thing I want to say is just, do we need to have a moment? I had a reaction in one of my viewings. I felt like the final topic is the mycelial network ride back to Prime Universe. Klingon War. Is Culber really gone? Like, all the feels there. I felt, in my third viewing, I felt like I could handle the Caecilian opera, clearing in the trees moment. Anthony Rapp was trying to do all the things he could. Respect to him as an actor. But I also still am slightly annoyed by Stamets. Table, other thoughts about this ride back into the future? Do we like the opera now? Do we feel good about that mycelial ride?
I always liked it. I've always felt like that last moment of the episode was well earned and well designed, because, like, you've got the rising music, you've got this guy, he's acting his face off and he's all sweaty, and then the lights change. He's just like, I felt like it was earned. I feel like it was set up. And I mean, it wasn't like a surprise. I kind of wished, I'll be honest, I do kind of wish that the network looked more like trees. Like, so I'm giving a negative opinion on the design, and I already low-key did because I called it a 90s screensaver. That was rude. But I wanted more tree stuff.
Now I see all those. You've just connected those dots for me, 90s screensaver. Thank you.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes, I see your nod.
It's just like a quick comment about the design of the mycelial network. Because did anyone get motion sickness watching it? Because I know I did. Like, I had to like cover my eyes the whole time because it reminded me of, that like fake roller coaster ride when you go to Regal Cinemas and when you go to the movies and then there's like a fake roller coaster ride, and I always have to fully cover the screen and cover my eyes because it makes me dizzy. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is too much like that and not cool enough looking.
So if we ever get a Star Trek Discovery mycelial network ride, at a theme park, we're gonna
Needs to
need them
happen.
to
It needs to
adjust
happen,
it.
I
Yes.
actually know I changed all of my. I no longer have any complaints, and they should just make that ride. It's perfect.
I wouldn't mind
love-
like the physical ride. It's the fake augmented flat screen, like whoop, 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 that I can't visually do it.
All right. Well, we're gonna hold space for you and anyone else who gets dizzy or sick from the enhanced travel through digital space. The struggle is real. I don't mean to belittle it. I hope you hear all of my sincerity. All right. Look. There's a lot to talk about. I so appreciate this conversation. And for the first time today, we're going to go into a spoiler zone with all of us. So let me just say, if you are watching Star Trek Discovery and you haven't seen past episode 13 of season 1 and you don't want to be in on spoilers, we're about to go into spoiler zone. So we're going to do a 5-minute spoiler zone today. When we come back, Marie and Maya will also share some doodles. So if you're watching on twitch.tv/outpost13 or outpost13.org, or if you're listening on our audio podcast, we're going to go into spoiler zone for 5 minutes. Take care of yourself as you need to. Brandon, let's go to spoiler zone in 3, 2, 1. All right, last chance. Here we go. Brandon, give us 5
Incoming
minutes on the clock.
transmission.
Excellent. Marie and Maya, welcome. Season 3, we can now connect the dots. We know that the David Cronenberg character comes back. Claudia, you also gave us the major spoiler that it has to exist. The Terran Empire has to exist. But I do want to have this conversation, knowing that Marie and Maya haven't seen season 2 yet, but you have seen season 3. Other thoughts on, is the Terran Empire really dead? Any other connecting dots between season 3 and this season? And the David Cronenberg character is like the guy with the big start glasses, who's the scientist who kept telling them everything
Isn't that
was
the
wrong.
actor? Isn't the actor actually
Sorry, yes,
David
that's-
Cronenberg?
that is
actor's
the actor.
David
Yeah,
Cronenberg, and like for some reason, everyone who's into Star Trek and talks about Star Trek has just been like, yeah, we're just gonna call him Cronenberg. We know who Cronenberg is. He directed all those good movies.
He's the scientist. She broke his AI by blinking her eyes, and he's like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?" That's the guy. The
Is he also a
scientist.
director?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, see. Okay. No, but I mean, I'm just excited that this isn't the end of the Mirror Universe, that we do get to go back to it in season 3, and kind of enter that story from a different vantage point. So I'm happy about that. And I'm also, thank God that this isn't the end of Culber and Stamets. I feel bad for him. He seems real humbled and sad, but also kind of just like, okay, I got to get us all home. And maybe he's in disbelief right now, but I still don't know how Culber comes back. So that's why I'm still devastated every time they showed us his death.
And Maya, potentially you've been set up for an entire season of like him dating awkwardly. Who knows what happens? When does
Ew.
Culber come back?
Dating awkwardly.
In space.
Space awkward dating.
my
Other
gosh, what else?
thoughts about season 3, Marie?
Well, yeah. So season 3 is where we also hear definitively, also again or repeatedly about Lorca and Burnham and their relations, and so gross, and because of Lorca, but yeah, I don't know if there's like any additional thoughts like this. This didn't so much. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. I will say though that in season 3, that Mirror Stamets seems very much more evil than the Mirror Stamets that we meet here, and so maybe Mirror Stamets got really scared about something and like caused him to be the Stamets that we see here in season 1. But yeah, because doesn't Stamets actually like stab someone in the back? In that funny rhyming couplets Terran opera.
Yes. For Georgiou, yes. Yes. The Cirque du Soleil rhyming couplets, Terran opera on behalf of the Emperor, yes.
That's set up in this season, though, too, because they say that the reason that Lorca doesn't like Mirror Stamets because Mirror Stamets betrayed him to Georgiou and was sucking up to Georgiou. So it seems like Mirror Stamets was always gonna will cut someone to get ahead regardless.
I will say I'm super sad that in the Mirror Universe season 1, we did not get Mirror Culber, because Mirror Culber in season 3 is just gorgeous as hot and he has a red outfit, so it would also have given us we got that fashion in season 3. Yes, Maya.
And guy liner.
And guy liner, it's true. Which he only wears in the mirror, which proves your earlier statement that it's the eyeliner and the goatees. He might actually have a goatee as well.
Can I just say that I think it's heterosexism that makes guy liner seem like an indication of evil in fashion design?
Ooh.
Heterosexism in dominant culture design. Boom, boom. Good guys can have guy liner too, just saying.
I love that,
Yes.
and go.
Are we fully running out of time? Is there
We
any
are.
more
We're
time?
at 25 seconds.
I know. Did you guys wanna
I
talk
have a
without
season,
us?
Yeah, I have a season 2 thing that I haven't
Okay.
been able to say until they leave. So
Okay.
I'm hoping we can
I'm
go
going.
over.
I'm going.
Because this time is gone. All right, I'm
They're
going to
gone.
share this thing with you because this was a big observation. I was really mad at the beginning of season, at the end of season. They set stuff up and then they didn't pay it off. So what they do is they say, they decide to shoot Mirror Stamets. So Mirror
Right.
Stamets
Wait,
gets
hold
thrown
on just a second.
Transfer of data is complete.
Okay. If you're still watching us, how do we navigate this?
Yeah,
with
I was
the
going to
sound?
say, I don't think I can share my amazing... This was a really big, gigantic observation about the end of this season and how it sets stuff up and then it does something weird with season 2. I really wanted to share that one observation. Just that one.
Great. So technical is going to go back into the red screen, and I'm going to ask in the chat that we let folks know we're going to go back. We're not going to use a timer. We're just going to go back in. Claudia, go ahead and finish your thoughts, and we'll adjust on the notes.
Okay.
And if
No,
we could
Maya's
let chat
putting
know.
headphones.
Not
Keep your
yet, not
headphones
yet,
off.
not yet. All right. Go, Claudia.
Okay, really, really fast. At the end of this episode, they murder... So, Mirror Stamets is fully murdered, but he doesn't fall into the mycelial network. But when they shoot Lorca, Lorca is thrown into the network, and Lorca's body disintegrates and becomes a part of it. So, I assumed that what they were setting up was evil Mirror Lorca inside the mycelial network. So I'm watching I'm watching all of season 2 being like, well, the bad guy must be Lorca in the weeds. And what a good way they set this up. And I'm so happy. And then it was Culber. And I was like, oh no, you gave that character a really nice ending. I was complete. I actually, I was sad and didn't want that character to be dead, but I didn't have any lingering story beats. With Lorca, I was like, you set me up. And that's my complaint, that they gave me different mushroom stories in season 2.
Yes, and I'll honor that. Thank you for that TED Talk. I will honor that, and I will hold my other, because yes, that's set up also with the little sparkly thing that we know later becomes May that falls on Tilly. So I see your feels. And you did answer a question I had of like, oh shit, yeah. Excuse my language. I know we can say those things, but okay. All right. Super excited to talk about this. Also say if you want to come to After Chat, folks, we can have these conversations there as well. All right. Yes. Headphones back in. We're back up. Yes. I'm waving yes.
Come back to me. Come back. Come back.
back,
To me.
okay.
Come on.
Yes, we're back. All right, so
Return
we're
of
making
the
visual gesticulations to help folks know that we're back. Thank you, audience, for bearing with us as we had. I think I was also just excited that Marie and Maya were in spoiler zone because I've been waiting to have several combos with each of them. So thank you for that, and thank you, Claudia, for asserting your need to say your thought. Always important at the Trek table. All right. Welcome back, Maya and Marie. Really briefly, I wasn't a lot of time. Marie, do you have a drawing of something that you doodled?
Yes, I do. So I decided to draw my favorite shot of the, I don't know if you can see it because I just use like ballpoint pen, but it's the upside down Stamets walking through the dying mycelial storage area. And so, yeah,
I
that
can
was
see
mine.
the shot Saru is narrating as it does an upside down flip. Yes. Amazing. Thank you for that. Maya, do you have a drawing a doodle to share with us?
Yes, very. I have sort of two based on our discussions. I have one that says, "Abolish the patriarchy, decriminalize guy liner." You may not be able to see it.
Criminalized guyliner.
And then I just made some really heavily eye-lined eyes. So.
And maybe one of our promotions this week on the Star Trek on the Trek Table Instagram will be some love for the guy liner. I mean, certainly Wilson Cruz in his life has worn some beautiful guy liner. So maybe we'll just do a shout out to Ricky or something. I don't know. All of these things are wonderful. Doodles, guy liner, a trip through the upside down forest. Very Alice in Wonderland, actually, Marie-Reine as well. So with all these things, we just want to say thank you for joining us. That was our thoughts on Thematix for Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 13, What's Past is Prologue.
And that brings us to our final Trek Table question number 3, which is, if you were in the Mirror Universe, would you be Team Georgiou or Team Lorca? All right, my friends, if you were in the Mirror Universe, would you be Team Georgiou or Team Lorca? Marie, go.
Oh, Team Georgiou all the way. I like me a good, strong woman leader.
I like that. Hey, Maya, Team Georgiou or Team Lorca? What do you think?
I mean, primarily, yes and yes, but also Georgiou's team has better outfits.
All right, I see you, Maya. De La. Team Georgiou or Team Lorca?
Team Georgiou, because if I have to bend over to any emperor, I'd rather bend over to Georgiou than bend over for Lorca.
Oh, come on. All right, y'all. I've already revealed myself that I'd be a sucker. I would be a mirror sucker because I'd be like, oh, this leader's all about change. This'll be different. Yeah. I'd be dumb, y'all. Anybody from our audience? What you got? It seems like I think it's going to be Team Georgiou all the way. All right, that brings us to well, actually, let me share one last thing, and that is the bonus question. You can talk about it in the after chat. Would you flirt with your Mirror Universe counterpart? That's an after chat conversation. You can have it in the chat right now. But that brings us to the end of Trek Table Questions.
Welcome back as we round the corner on this Trek Table episode number 14. We're in our signal boost, and here at Trek Table, we do strive to hold space for Black, Indigenous, Brown women of color. And here are some resources that we want to amplify and highlight. We want to amplify and highlight the work of women of color content creators, community builders, and world shapers. Maya, can I ask you to share our first signal boost for today?
Sure. Reclaim Ugly is an intergenerational, multiracial, LGBTQIA+ and Black-led organization that serves social justice-minded communities and centers the voices and needs of people who exist within the following intersections of identity: Black, Indigenous, and mixed race people of color, fat people of size, LGBTQIA+, and sick and disabled people. So if you want to find out more about the projects they're working on, you can go to reclaimugly.org or follow at the Ugly Black Woman on Instagram.
Thank you. Marie-Reine, can I invite you to share our next signal boost for today?
Yes, we amplify Daughters of the Ocean, a collection of short films on view now at the Asian Pacific Virtual Showcase, presented by Visual Communications. From Hawaii to Samoa to Southern California to Aotearoa, these stories reflect the generosity of the waters that connect the Pacifica diaspora. The Shorts program celebrates the 30th anniversary of Pacific Islanders in communication as they continue storytelling traditions through media. To watch Daughters of the Ocean go to vcmedia.org/APVS.
Awesome. Thank you. And our last one, Claudia?
Trek Table also wants to pump native voices of the Autry Museum of the American West and their virtual production of The New Adventures of Super Indian, now available for free via web streaming through May 5th. Created and written by Aragon Star Kickapoo Tribe of Oklahoma, The New Adventures of Super Indian unfolds over 3 audio episodes that tell the comic exploits of Super Indian and ordinary reservation boy turned superhero and the residents of the fictional Leaning Oak Reservation. Catch the episodes online for free while you can through May 5th at the Autry Museum, theautry.org.
Great. And if you have a woman of color content creator that you want us to amplify and help us to share what she is doing out in the world, feel free to DM us at Trek Table on Instagram or Trek Table 1 on Twitter. And that is the signal boost for Trek Table episode 14. All right, we want to say thank you so much for joining us as we round the corner into this back part of our show. We're in our final thoughts, so I want to invite folks to go ahead and share their final thoughts on this Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 13, What's Past is Prologue. Maya, can I invite you to go first?
Yes, I guess this is our last. I feel like we just jumped out of the mirror universe without saying goodbye with some explosions, but I'm gonna be sad to see all that gold and excess go. I mean, I know what it's supposed to represent, but I think it's been fun to kind of think about who we are if we were to be in a different, universe. How would we act? What our ethics would be? But also, I think that I hope that we don't. We're playing a lot, and it's just I often just sort of categorize the mirror universe as evil. We also see that there's a rebel group, there's organizers organizing together, banding together in a way that they wouldn't in another universe, and so I just think that there's all these multiple layers, and the morality play is something that's why I have so much fun in the mirror universe, because I think it's important to kind of push back on this idea of goodness and and what is bad, and especially in terms of morality and choices, but I do see it also as an ally of leaders that are trying to convince people that there's that one group of people is superior to another, and that I'm absolutely not interested even for a moment playing with or taking that into consideration at all. So that's what I have to say about that.
Great. Thank you. I'll go next to flow out the order, and then we'll go to Claudia, and then we'll close with Marie-Reine. My final thought today is just acknowledging in the chat earlier in our conversation which team you'd be on. Luz V brought up Team Mirror Voke, and I realized that I'm all Team Mirror Voke. I was like, I'm about that, and I realized that I do really I still really love that Burnham wanted to ask, how did you do it? How did you get people together? And I feel like in this moment in time, currently in 2021, it's like, how do we come together? And it's not just a common enemy question, but it's like, what is our common purpose? How do we gather towards how do we gather in favor of something instead of just being against something? So I just think about how over this last year, I feel like, yeah, this show really asked me to think about. I do think it's sexy. I agree with you, Maya. I do think it's sexy to be all hot and stuff, but I also feel like I am interested in trying to figure out how do we create a new present where we really can address and talk about white supremacy and supremacy culture and the things in our current moment that we need to address so that it doesn't continue to be this thing that that our children's children have to be in opposition to. So I'm sad to see the mirror go, and I miss Dr. Colbert. He's giving me all the feels right now. So that's my final thought today. Claudia, can I invite you to share your final thoughts?
Yes, but your final thought gave me 900 more final thoughts because I'm now like, right, Team Mirror Vogue. That's the obvious choice. So I was closing this episode thinking about the inevitable failure of our evil leader that I don't think we're going to see again, and that we saw explode in the mycelium network. He never let go of his bad ideas, of his deeply held, terrible beliefs. Like, he really believed, it's not that he believed in destiny. It's he believed that he was strong enough to decide and control what Burnham was going to do. And all he had to do was just like, I believe in it and I'm going to make it happen. And that's that. He had a genocidal and suicidal construct to everything. And I'm now realizing that the exciting narrative was the one we never explored. It was the one that was hinted at. I want to see the entire season of the Mirror Universe. That's the Rebels. That's what. Ooh, yeah. All right, so that's my final thought. And if you want to hear more about the 900 other thoughts, come join us in the after chat.
That's what's up. And our final thought for the day. This is Marie-Reine's final show in this season 1. We're gonna have 2 more shows, but Marie, I know you can't join us for the next couple weeks. So thank you for all of your work this season. And the floor is yours. Your final thought on season 1, episode 13.
Thanks. And I will say it's because I have work conflicts. I have like these massive work conflicts. But so with final thoughts. I would say this actually connects to what has already been said, and also going back to what I'm holding Trek Space for today is like the anti-imperialists among us. And and this is sparked by the episode and thinking about the Terran Empire. This is also sparked by thinking about, I would love to see what is the dialogue of the rebels in fighting against the fighting against the empire, the Terran Empire. What are the conversations that they're having? And also, I wish that the Discovery wasn't heading back into a war, because it would be really great to see or hear what are the kind of debriefing conversations amongst the Discovery crew having come from the Terran Empire, and seeing that and seeing this potential version of themselves. Are all of their actions from here on going to be, at least influenced or thinking about what the mirror version of them, the mirror universe version of themselves are? And so it's just thinking about that. I'm also currently inspired by these young playwrights. I've been reading a number of, plays from emerging writers who are self-described anti-imperialists, and really thinking about decolonization, and really thinking about what really forward thinking things that they're writing in this creative and beautiful way. And it just makes me really excited about the future and about continuing this kind of work that we're doing. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sad that I'm not able to join the next couple of weeks to finish out this season, to talk about these next 2 episodes, but it's going to be such a great, it'll be really great.
Yes. And I just want to say thanks to our friends who've been watching us on the twitch.tv chat at Outpost 13. Thanks to another TV viewer, Aten. What's up, Carbob? Commander Root, Community for Small Streamers. What's up, Doc Zulu? FRW33ED. What's up? Just Queen. Hi, you made it. What's up, Kate1415? Live it, love it, dance it. Great to see you. Peter Bennett, we see you. Satterfield, we see you. Cirx00. What's up, Cirx? Toms, as well as the Tam Tom. So great to have you all. Tien, what's up? Transwarp Witch, what's up? V and K's here. Virgo Pros, Words and Cats. We just want to say thanks to everybody. Luz V. Seal, Calling Up Justice. Maya Chipina, thank you so much for joining us for this chunky conversation as we get near the end of this very first season of Star Trek Discovery. We're so grateful, and thank you for joining us for our final thoughts on this episode.
Thank you all for joining us for Trek Table. Don't forget to sign up for our mailing list at trektablepodcast.com.
Yes, and we want to remind you, support us at patreon.com/trektable.
Thank you all, and we invite you to like and subscribe to us on Instagram or Facebook at Trek Table and on Twitter at TrekTable1. Join our convos there, and please comment using hashtags TrekTable, hashtag BIWOC Trek, and hashtag Star Trek Discovery.
Yes, and if you want, you can find our podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever you find your podcasts.
Yes, and as we close out today's episode, we want to say thank you and gratitude to our hosts, Claudia Alick, Maya Chinchilla, and Marie-Reine Velez. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your insights, your ideas, and even letting us have a couple of Star Trek fights today. Super exciting. As we started the show today and we start to wrap up, as we start to close out Ritual, I just want to remind us we've been holding Trek Space for the past here in the United States and around the world, and the prologue that it set up for the world that we all inherited. We're also holding Trek Space for anybody trying to make a new present, to leave a better past for someone else's prologue. We're also holding Trek Space for those who do not believe in no-win scenarios, and for those who are having to make quick decisions and making decisions that don't just benefit yourself. We're also holding Trek Space for anti-imperialists out there. We see you, especially you young playwrights. And we're also holding Trek Space for those who demand dignity and choice in how they live and how they die. And last but not least, holding Trek Space for people who align with Trek Table and put it in your weekly calendar. We love you too. We'd also like to say thank you today to the Trek Table production team, executive producers Alison Dela Cruz and Luz Vimenda Jadiwala, production coordinator Brandon Chang, artist coordinator Terry Hashimoto, social media manager Isil Borlasa, and stage manager Ariana Michelle.
Deep gratitude and thanks to Outpost 13 and their parent organization Outside in Theater, with extra thanks to Jessica, Paul, Matt, Tamlin, Danny, Arlo, and Alex. Thanks also to Geekish Network, our exclusive partner on Clubhouse. Thanks to Francis and Abe and Visual Communications. And thanks to all of our friends across the Star Trek universes.
And finally, the deepest thank you to you folks joining us on outpost13.org or live in our twitch.tv/outpost13 chat, or those of you listening to our recorded podcast. Thank you for showing up for a conversation centering women of color in Trek.
Trek Table is a service mark of De La Projects, LLC.
And we want to say thank you so much for coming today. Let's go ahead and close out this ritual. Ground yourself and just take one more big breath in. And exhale. And we hope that you will join us for these next 2 Sundays as we close out Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. Till then, we'll look forward to holding Trek Space for you again really soon. See you later. Have a great week.